Thanks for visiting Patient Weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health stresses for April 22nd, 2026. We do keep additional graphics at tpatw.com. We also maintain a storefront on Amazon. Looking at the surface map for Wednesday, it looks as if high pressure is dominating most of the country, although there is that cool front hanging from Montana all the way across North Dakota into Wisconsin, down into central Ohio, southern Pennsylvania, and off the coast. Lots of unsettled weather here in the Pacific Northwest, a little in the northern plains, snow in the higher elevations, and a little bit of moisture lingering just along the Gulf and southern Florida. Looking at our vitality index, we're looking at a lot of activity in the Pacific Northwest, a little bit of unsettled weather here in the northern plains, and a lot of activity along the eastern seaboard. Although the weather map looks rather calm, we do have a large area of pressure change for Wednesday, rising pressure across northern California, Oregon, and Washington into Idaho, and actually stretching a little bit into Montana, western Montana, and western Wyoming. But we have falling pressure all the way across the northern plains from Montana into the Dakotas, up and down Wyoming, Colorado, and down through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, stretching across Oklahoma into Louisiana. We also have falling pressure right along the eastern seaboard, mainly from eastern North Carolina, across eastern Virginia, Maryland, eastern Pennsylvania, and then picking up the easternmost portions of New England. Note on temperature change, very, very interesting, as we have warming temperatures again coming up through Texas and into Oklahoma, all the way up the plains, and really a lot of rising temperatures again along the eastern seaboard. But note that frigid air pushing down into the Pacific Northwest, into the northern Rockies. Looking at our dew point temperature change, you'll see that we have falling dew point temperatures across the west, but generally rising dew point temperatures in the east. And we have a specific looking at that rising dew point temperatures here as we have that flow off the Gulf into eastern Texas and Oklahoma, and extending all the way up the plains and really along the eastern seaboard. Another interesting aspect with high pressure off the coast, we have Gulf air flowing all the way up through West Texas, and a significant amount of rising and lifted and instability here in Iowa, northern Missouri, and picking up some here in eastern Kansas and eastern Nebraska. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, we have that migraine risk from Washington and Oregon, and then really extending significantly from New Mexico across Nevada into Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, even in Idaho. We also have a small risk of migraine here in southern Iowa. We have a real significant migraine risk along the shoreline of Wisconsin, and a risk of migraine again along the coast here of eastern Michigan. We have asthma risk here in the Texas and up into Oklahoma, into Kansas, extending down into Louisiana, and then rather significant across the Dakotas into Minnesota, and again an asthma arthritis risk extending from Florida up through Georgia, South Carolina, especially strong in the easternmost portions of the Carolinas, eastern Virginia, Maryland, and on into Long Island, and then extending on into New England, but most significant here in the middle Atlantic states. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, tell us where.